There are renewed calls tonight for the results of an inquiry into the behaviour and culture within the Red Arrows display team to be published in full. The investigation concluded several weeks ago and led to the dismissal of 2 members of the team and disciplinary action against a third. Labour's defence spokesman says the full findings from the inquiry should be published. We're talking to him in a moment, but first this from Philip Norton.
Delighting crowds around the world, ambassadors for a nation and seen as the pinnacle of a career in the Royal Air Force. But in recent times, the Red Arrows have hit turbulence. Allegations of what was described as a broad range of unacceptable behaviours among the team led to an inquiry and a cloud around the RAF's aerobatic display team based in Lincolnshire. Now based at RAF Waddington, the accusations included bullying and sexual harassment. One former member of the squadron claimed women were treated as second-class citizens.
I did see a lot of unacceptable behaviour when it came to the males towards the females on the squadron, especially on pre-season when you're away in a different country and I think people just go into holiday mode.
The RAF Police Special Investigations Branch examined specific allegations and found no criminal cases to be answered. But the RAF said during its inquiry, several personnel were investigated. 2 members of the squadron were sacked, with additional training being rolled out to the team. Last month, there were further developments. Red Arrow's leader, Commanding Officer David Montenegro, was suspended, a familiar face of the display team.
Our local community has been tremendous. We get out as much as we can to schools, universities, businesses.
In a statement, the RAF said, the RAF is aware of historic allegations from 2017 that have been made against the current officer commanding the RAF aerobatic team, which will be thoroughly investigated. Pending that investigation and without prejudice, the individual has been removed from post. The Ministry of Defence says recommendations from the inquiry have already been implemented. Philip Norton, BBC Look North.
Well, that is the story so far, and I would just say we did ask the Ministry of Defence and also the Defence Secretary for an interview, but neither was available. But earlier this afternoon I spoke to Labour's Shadow Minister for the Armed Forces, Luke Pollard. Mr. Pollard, the MOD have said that there's been a range of outcomes, including dismissal. Are you happy with that? Is enough transparency for you?
No, I'm not. A month ago, we called for the report to be published so we could see not only what the problems were, but what solutions were. Hiding it behind this opaque screen so we can't see what they're doing, I'm afraid doesn't create the transparency that we need, and it looks like the Ministry of Defence marking their own homework.
But the MOD have said that the information that's been given has been given in confidence and they don't believe it can be or will be released. I mean, that's fair enough, isn't it?
The Red Arrows is the UK's most famous squadron. It should be leading the way. And because public trust has been so damaged because of this controversy, transparency is the way to put that trust back at front and centre. And I'm afraid hiding the report, the problems and its recommendations behind a wall so we can't see it or scrutinise it or check it's been involved, I'm afraid does not give the public the trust that we need, nor does it give service personnel the trust they need to come forward with their own experiences if they're suffering abuse or intimidation.
What about the Red Arrows generally? I mean, would you like to see them disbanded?
No, the Red Arrows are world famous for good reason. They are the best of the best. The problem is, we now know that behaviour of some people in the Red Arrows fell far short of the expectations required. To restore public confidence in the Red Arrows, we need to have full transparency. We need the RAF to learn the lessons and to be clear about what has changed. So not only serving personnel, but the general public can have confidence that the Red Arrows will continue to represent the very best of the Royal Air Force.
You mentioned the general public. This was an email I had last week. They are a bunch of privileged men in a toxic culture from another era. Your response on that?
We need to see change in our armed forces. I want our armed forces to remain the very best in their fighting capability, but to do that, we need to make sure that they can be the very best at welcoming people from all backgrounds, all genders. The best way of having that is to purge this toxic atmosphere within our armed forces that prevents people coming forwards with their own experiences. And if we do that, we'll have a better armed forces as a result.
Mr. Pollard, good to talk to you tonight. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.